We'd like to welcome back to the show CTV National News Chief Anchor and Senior Editor, Omar Sachedina. Welcome back.
Welcome back. Omar, thank you for doing this interview. Let's go back in time. Gabriel Wortman was known to the police long before this rampage happened. Talk a little bit more about that.
Yes, Cynthia, you know, it's one of the most powerful interviews I've done, and thank you to Lisa Banfield for trusting us with her story. Not an easy thing to talk about, and we certainly didn't want to re-victimize her, but she wanted to come forward to try to help others. You're right to say, you know, Gabriel Wortman was known to police. He had been convicted on abuse charge before. There were people who had called police before. A mass casualty commission found that they didn't sufficiently do their jobs. They didn't sufficiently follow up. Lisa Banfield, for 19 years, suffered horrific abuse at the hands of this individual. And we mentioned that there were 22 victims the night of that massacre, and she too is a victim. And I think, you know, one of the main takeaways from this piece is that, you know, it's her story, it's her words, and she is speaking out now because she wants to help other people.
It takes a lot of courage to do that. So talk to us about the abuse that she endured the night of the massacre.
Well, the night of the massacre, it started out pretty okay. They went for a drive. They were celebrating their anniversary, exploring the back roads of Nova Scotia. They come back into their house, and then he has a call with friends in Maine in the US, and then something just switches. And keep in mind, this is the early days of the pandemic. Lisa describes his paranoia. He was becoming more and more isolated. He was hoarding hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of cash, ammunition, guns, and something switches. She says, you know what, I'm going to bed. I'm calling it a night, and I just want to, you know, escape from the situation. He comes back into the room. She hears a swooshing sound. He's basically pouring gas everywhere. Busts down the door. She describes herself as being naked in bed, beats her, crushes her phone, and then says, follow me. Locks her into the back of a replica police cruiser. She escapes and then crawls. And keep in mind, she's not wearing much. It's a chilly April day. And she finds refuge in the hollow of a tree for hours as she hears gunshots all over and sees fires in the distance. So just horrific what she experienced.
Yeah.
Is it true, Omar, that the police didn't originally see Lisa as a victim in this case?
It's true. It's, you know, this is it's a bit more of a gray area. The Casualty Commission found that this was a situation where police did not have the adequate resources of treating this individual as somebody who had been abused for 19 years. She gave them 4 interviews. The last one was at the site of that hiding spot in Portapic. They showed up with cameras, videotaped the entire thing. She describes it as being an absolute ambush because she didn't know she was being recorded. And then they stunned everybody and charged her with supplying ammunition. Now, this is something that she admits to, charged her and 2 of her relatives. But she says, you know what, I did it because I was under his control, and I thought that he was preparing for the end of days. He at no point said that he was gonna massacre 22 people, right? And so the expert in the story that we played off the top, Peter Jaffe, a world-renowned expert in domestic violence, said that she was under his control, and this started off with him slowly isolating her from her family, then got into an abuse situation, then eventually ended up with this horrific massacre we saw. The other reason this story is so important is that even though it disproportionately affects women, I mean, staggering statistic, once every 6 days in this country, a woman is killed, but we have to underline that it's not just women who are victims of this. There are men who are victims of this as well. So it affects all of society, and it's really about a societal failure at the end of the day.
And there really has been a surge in gender-based violence. I mean, I feel like in Canada, I mean, maybe around the world, and some of this is connected to being something that kicked off during the pandemic. But what did the experts say to you that you interviewed about Lisa's situation specifically?
Well, she was a prime target, right? This was an individual whose father abused her physically, who, while she was babysitting, while she was young, she suffered the sexual abuse at the hands of the father whom she was babysitting. So when Gabriel Wortman found her, when they met at that, you know, Halifax bar, he saw somebody as a prime target, somebody who he could really exercise control over, manipulate, and do that over time. It's easy to come to a very simplistic and reductive explanation and all of that and say, you know, she should have left sooner. She should have done this, or that is victim blaming, right? Yep. The question we should be asking is not why she left sooner, but why didn't society fail to stop somebody like him sooner, right?
Yes.
That is the real question here.
Yep.
And so the hope is here that people are able to get the supports they need, which was one of the major lessons of the Mass Casualty Commission, that this was a failure. But really, it's about coercive control. And you know, in her case, it's to me what my takeaway was. This is not a woman who is weak. I mean, this is a woman who has been abused multiple times throughout her life, has not only got back up, she's standing, she's got the mental strength to write a book and to try to help others and hold everything she's experienced. And she said, you know what, I feel so much compassion towards the families and what they went through. This is something that she still struggles with, this sense of survivor's guilt, even as she's processing everything that she went to, because she almost died that night.
Can we go a little further in the idea of societal failure? You're right, it's victim blaming to say, well, why didn't she leave, instead of asking, well, why did he treat her that way?
Yes.
So let's go further in that. When you say societal failure, or many experts in this case say this is a perfect case of societal failure.
So what are we doing with our police, right? The purpose of the Mass Casualty Commission was to enlighten. I mean, we had evidence of that right there. 22 people killed, and also the victim in Lisa Banfield. But you know, the experts are still saying that there are serious gaps out there. We have to raise, you know, again, predominantly women who are the victims of this, but men too. But we have to raise men and boys who understand and can be, you know, have the ability to deal with their trauma. Gabriel Wortman's great-grandfather beat his grandfather, who beat his father, who beat Gabriel Wortman. This is multiple generations of abuse that he suffered that clearly wasn't dealt with, right? So we have to address that issue. We have to raise women and girls who are resilient, who are strong, who have a sense of self-worth, who will not be manipulated by individuals, and who can stand back up.
Big. What an important interview, and Omar, I couldn't think of anybody better than you to be conducting this. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so you're wondering, when is this going to air? The CTV News special will be airing Sunday, January 18th, right after the NFL, and then available on Crave the very next day. We certainly hope that all of you will watch this really important interview.